Okay, let's get started. Hi, I'm Bill, and if this is the first time dropping into my channel, welcome. The purpose of the video today is to share with you what my project plan is for imaging M31, the Andromeda galaxy. I thought it would be important to share the plan if you're following along so you understand what my goals are, and I'll also give you a status update of where I'm at currently. So let's move into the plan. Okay, I still have trouble with these slides. Okay, so first I thought I would review the environment I'm working with for those of you that are new to the channel, but essentially I have a Zenithstar 61 360 millimeter focal length, and I'm using a ZWO ASI294MM Pro monochrome camera, and then I am also using some filters, and as you see here I've got two filters crossed out because I'm not using them as part of this project, but I am using the Luminance, RGB, and the hydrogen alpha filters. And then you can see what kind of mount I'm using, and also I'm using a Powerbox Advanced, and I'm using the Pegasus Astro FlatMaster 150 as part of the project. So let's dive into the project plan. I have patterned this project after I think it was an image I saw on cloudy nights. Someone had done a project to image M31, and they had collected approximately 32 hours of data, which they integrated. So I'm basically going to try to copy that plan, and I'm trying to do a project where I am going to have to image over multiple nights, and I'm going to have to work with different ratios in a sense. So as you look here in the project plan window, here's the breakdown per filter that I'm shooting for, which is my goal, and this is what that represents as a percent of the exposures. This column here is what I've currently captured per filter, and here's what I have remaining per filter, and therefore this is kind of the percent complete per filter. So I kind of like to work with spreadsheets and documents, so this is my way of kind of structuring the project. And again, I wanted something that was a longer term project, and while I may image some other stuff over the next month or two, my focus is going to be M31. So here's how I'm tracking the light frames. What I'm learning is it's important to keep track of all your data, and so this is the method that I'm using. I'm also anticipating that I may be shooting from different locations, so that's why I have the location information here. And then I also track the camera settings for gain and offset, and those type of things. So far, this spreadsheet has been helpful to me when it came time to process my data and also understand how much work I have remaining to meet the goal of 30 hours of integration time. Calzoon and others who said I should not be doing my darks during the night, you're 100% right. Thank you for that reminder. But since I did do them, I now have a dark library. I confirmed I was able to, even though I did my darks per filter, it's okay to munge them all together, bring them all together into one dark library, since the exposure times and the temperature set point gain and everything was equal across the different filters. So I now have a dark library established of I think 60 frames. I made a big mistake. I I really do believe in the importance of collecting your calibration frames. Prior to breaking down my setup at GMARS, I did not take my flats and dark flats, and so that was a mistake on my part. I reached out to some people on cloudy nights, and the feedback I got, okay, it was a mistake, so take the flats now at home and then see how it may or may not impact your data. So that's what I've done, and going forward, after I break down at a site, I will take my flats. But one thing I want to point out here, you can see in red for my flats, when it comes to the blue and HA filters, let me just quickly annotate this. Blue and HA, I've got some really big times there, and of course you shoot your dark flats at the same exposure as I understand it. So this amounts to 3.83 hours, and so I took 10 flats and then 10 dark flats per filter that I use, but that's like 6-7 hours of just taking flats at the site. So I need to get these numbers down, and I think the reason is because if we get into there we go. If we come into here, it has to do with my settings in the Flat Wizard section. When I go into multi-mode and I come down here into the HA and I come into the blue, and what I need to do is I need to optimize these discrete settings in Nina, and I did do one run where I had the histogram mean target at 50, and then I was getting some errors, so I changed some settings off the default. So now I'm going to go back on 50 and run some additional flats, but I took the HA and the blue with a histogram mean target of 40. When I had it at 50, I think the times were halved. But again, I got some more work to do with the Nina Flat Wizard to understand it, but I clearly got to get the time it takes to shoot my flat and dark flat down. So I thought I would share that with you. And while I'm here, I am cooling the camera to -10C because I'm getting set up to create a dark library for a -10C with a gain of 120 and an offset of 30 with an exposure time of 240 seconds. So these are things I can work on at home and build out my dark frame calibration library, which is what I'm going to do. So and then finally, so moral of the story, before you move your gear, take your flats. That's what I have to tell myself. It was a miss on my part, but it won't be a miss going forward. And then I've loaded successfully all my data in Astro Pixel Processor, which is what I'm currently using. There's a quicker way to do it than what I did it, because you can activate the header tag when you're loading your files. But I loaded my data, my light data, by filter, so that would correspond to a channel in Astro Pixel Processor, and then also by session number. In reading the current documentation around Astro Pixel Processor, it appears, because I have header tags in my file names, I can load everything at once, and I don't have to worry about different sessions since all the exposure times and everything are equal. So I'll get into a little bit more of that. So as I get more proficient with Astro Pixel processor, I'll start to share some videos on how to do things. Again, there's plenty of great videos out there, and if you go to, I think it's Aries Productions, that's the Astro Pixel processor site, you will find some tutorials that are pretty good on how to do things in Astro Pixel processor. Now, having said all that, I've made a decision. Shortly, within a week or two, I will download the trial version of PixInsight. I am going to add some complexity again to what I'm trying to accomplish. But the more and more I read, if you really want to become a master processor, PixInsight is the way to go. And so we'll see. I can get the trial version for 45 days, and then to get a license, I believe it's the equivalent of 230 euros. So again, just wanted to take a little bit of time to share with you what my project plan involved and what I was shooting for as far as total integration time. And so if you're following along, you know, I'll be providing regular updates on how I'm doing relative to completing the various filters. Other than that, I want to thank everyone for dropping into the channel, and I want to thank you for those of you that have subscribed, and Calzoon and others. You have really helped me get up the learning curve. I appreciate your input and your feedback. It really helps, and hopefully other viewers are reading the comments as well to pick up the knowledge that's being shared there. That's much appreciated. And I just want to advocate again, if there's a club in your area, you might want to consider joining it. I was very hesitant, and yeah, I joined a club that was like 476 miles away. But already the value that I've gotten in return for my effort is I've met some great people, and I've been able to share, you know, ask them questions, and they've helped me with the answers, in particular relative to the setup that I have. And then there's also a visual astronomer, Ron, who has been extremely helpful in helping me start the process of learning the night sky. I mean, as you know, I came to astrophotography as a photographer. I really knew nothing about the constellations and the stars and how they're born and all those things. And it's just been fascinating. Several times now, I've been at the site when Ron is there, and he is just a wealth of knowledge, and he doesn't mind sharing it. And he gets a lot of enjoyment allowing me and others to look through his 25-inch Dobsonian telescope, and boy, is that a lot of fun, and it's just amazing what you can see, the live photons with your eyes. So again, I'm going to advocate from time to time, look for a club in your area, reach out to others, because sometimes the one-to-one conversations are a very rich experience. Okay, I'm going a little bit long. Hopefully this is helpful, but now you understand what I'm trying to accomplish. And looks like the next time I'm going to be imaging is around the 12th or 13th of October, and then I'll start to fill in the missing data that I need to collect and continue to keep the project moving forward. So thanks again for dropping into the channel. Be sure to, if you like this kind of content, give it a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. Otherwise, till next time.